and it's as easy as doing this now when the battery's dead. Let me try to do this with one hand. And there we go, we're charging. In this video, we're going to look at making the battery mod for the Sky FS-i6S transmitter. Now, in this case, I've already done it, but I'm still going to take it apart and show you what it is that I did to achieve this. And now I will no longer have to change AA batteries on this transmitter, which is probably the only downfall about it because it has so many great features and many different channels. So the first thing we're going to have to do, obviously if you have your transmitter bone stock, then you're going to have to take the batteries out of it. But since this one doesn't have batteries, for now I'm going to leave the cover on because it's hiding a little surprise. Now, as I've shown the pictures, this is going to be your end result. Or at least that's the way it was for me. And for this, you'll need a battery charger that is external. So I got this from a different RC helicopter, and it had a battery. The RC helicopter had a battery, and it had an external battery charger. So I took the charger and I actually put the guts inside of this transmitter and the battery, and now it all works together and I can charge it. So we're going to go straight into disassembling the transmitter. Anytime you're going to disassemble a transmitter, I would suggest putting something under the switches and the gimbals to protect them, and also to protect any surfaces you're working on. So I'm going to use this terry cloth. First thing we will need to do is remove the padding. So to do this, I find that the easiest way is to start at one of the lower corners and just work your nail in there. And once you've gotten your nail behind there, just gently pull. There's going to be 3 little tabs here, and when those come out, you can rotate it 90 degrees and pull, and the rest will come off. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So now we're on the left. You stick your nail in there, pull the first tab, second, third, and now we rotate 90 degrees and pull. So now that we have those out of the way, we'll keep them in their designated side. The next thing we'll notice is we have 4 Phillips screws to remove. So in this case, I'll be using a Phillips screwdriver, medium tip, and we'll start removing at any corner. Now that you have your screws loose, it's good to dump them so you don't lose any of them. So I would suggest covering 2 of them while you dump 2 of them. And now that they're down, dump the other 2. Or continue backing it out if it needs to back out some more. Now that we have our screws, we're going to collect them somewhere they won't get lost. And we'll continue protecting our surfaces and protecting our switches. And at this point, to remove the cover, I would suggest starting from the top, although you can start from the bottom as well. You can grab the handle here and just gently push with your thumb and try to separate it. If that doesn't work right away, then you'll have to stick your nail in there or a tiny screwdriver. In this case, just a gentle amount of pressure and it'll come apart. Now you can already begin to see what I've done here. So first we're going to go through what it is that I've already done, and then we'll go through what it is you need to do to be able to achieve the same thing. So here what we have is a 7.4 volt 650 milliamp hour lithium ion battery that came off of a helicopter. It was a Predator helicopter, RC helicopter, made by Protocol. Now in this case what I've done, I've removed this LED that used to blink on this side, and I've left this one. So the way this charger works is it indicates power is at the system, and then the other light, which is the one that I've ran a wire to, is the one that indicates charging. And when this light turns off, that indicates your battery is done charging. So at this point, the only thing that you need to modify in your transmitter is this part here, and this is in regards to the wiring. You do have to do some hardware modification, and I'll show you that and what's the best way to do it. So here's your wire. Obviously, anytime you're going to cut a battery lead, I would recommend staggering them. So I've staggered them about an inch apart, and that way there is no chance that I'm going to short this battery out and start a fire. So once you've cut this wire and you've attached it to your battery, that's probably the easiest part. Now the most complicated part is finding a charger. Now in this case, I was very fortunate to have this RC helicopter laying around. Now on the transmitter back, what you will need to do is remove your battery cover. Once you've removed the battery cover, the way I found best to remove this battery tray is with a utility knife. So you take your utility knife and gently score. So I started from this side. So obviously imagine there's going to be a tray right here, and anytime using a utility knife, you need to always be aware of which way you're pointing the blade, because that can turn out really bad. So in this case, I was using the hard part of the battery tray right here to hold my left hand fingertips, and then with my right hand placing the knife edge and dragging it across by pushing with my left. So obviously right now I can't hold it because there's no battery tray to hold on to, but regardless of how you do it, the number one thing is you don't have to remove all of it, because you need something for the door, or the cover rather, to be able to slide into and snap. And the bottom part, which to me is the easiest, is your scoring from left to right, or depending on which hand you're dominant with, right to left. And then the final thing that I did was I cut out a notch for the charger, and if you see that, this is where the charger is. And after cutting out that notch, I aligned the charger where I wanted it to be. I used some of this stuff you can find at your Lowe's, local hardware store, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, DAP, and it's a clear silicone flexible sealant. So that way it sticks on there, but it's not going to be cement or a JB Weld type adhesive. And now once you have your notch cut out, finally drill a hole where you can squeeze the LED into, and just have it protrude about 1 millimeter, not too much. There's no need for the whole LED to stick out. And then the rest of it, just put a big dab of hot glue on there, first off to protect it from being pulled in, Second and foremost, to protect those terminals from shorting out anywhere. Now once you've done all of this, you have to make sure everything's connected before you close it up. So first we're going to connect our battery. And just to remember how this goes, there's a tiny little guide right here. And you'll see that guide also back here. So you know that this side, the left is power, and the right side is ground. So we're going to do that. Now that that's connected, remember to connect the back of your radio for these two keys to work. Now that the back of the radio is connected, you can just gently move these wires out of the way or push them out the back. Bring your back cover in and just gently push, make sure you're not pinching any wires. And then for this wire, we're just going to run it across here, give it a bend, and put it away. So now that all of this is in here, we can start putting our screws back together, and then we'll look at how it works. So again, we're going to fast forward through this part because we all know how to put screws back on. Now we can put our battery cover back on. And now we have the both guards that we took off. So we took them off with the radio facing up. So we're going to put them on in the same order. The way it came off, we're going to do it that way as well. So first, we're going to put it at about 90 degrees outward. Actually, not even 90, about 60 degrees outward. And then start dropping in these three little tabs. You don't have to force them. If they're not going in naturally, then something's catching up. And then push these little three tabs in the back. And you can drop some adhesive on here if you'd like. I don't recommend it. These little tabs hold it on very well. Again, we do the outside first. Put it at an angle, push in the tabs, doesn't matter from top to bottom, bottom up, but as long as you do the front side of the radio first, turn the radio around and push in these tabs. Now that our radio is put together, first thing we're going to check, does it power on? Yes, it does. Now we can turn it back off. And the final step is make sure our charger is working correctly. And then plug it in our new charging port that we've cut out. And now it indicates that we're charging. And if we turn it around, remove this cap, we can see that we have power. So now, how is this going to help us? Now you can use this radio as long as you want. You can use it on the simulator as long as you need to. You don't have to replace AA batteries every week. Now you can just charge your batteries and fly as much as you want. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. And see you on the next one.